Bum, bum, bum. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you back to the Sports is
Hello.
My Love Language podcast. Yo, look, we're back, and it's perfect timing. There's a lot going on in sports, man, especially this last week. It was loaded, whether it was MMA, it was baseball, there was always the NFL is the gift that keeps on giving, but a lot of NBA news, and I'm super excited to be here with my people, my crew, the Sports is Love My Love Language podcast crew. I'm starting off with my man, aka El Schefter, my man Petey Pablo. Yo, we got my man Ed Colombiano, aka Javito. Bam, bam, bam. And we got our first lady, Miss Vega. Miss Vega, how you doing? How's everything?
Very good, very
Glad you're
good.
back. Glad you're back. We're really pumped here. What do you call it? We're really pumped. We got a couple people going to be late, which is all good. You know what I'm saying? They could join us whenever. But that's all good. Because especially Akil, we want to hear you. We want to hear your rant about your 76ers. So I hope that, you jump on with us. But other than that, we're going to start off. There's a lot to talk about here. Um, I really wanted to get into the conversation about the NBA playoffs. In my opinion, it's one of the best playoffs I've seen in a long time. I really, really enjoy some of the matchups, whether it's Phoenix and Dallas, whether it's Memphis and what do you call it, and
Golden State.
in Golden State, which is awesome. Or if it's and the drama attached to that, a lot of the game within the game that's going on there. The 76ers, what's going on with that? Like, is it a debacle? Are they falling apart? Can they come back? That storyline is fantastic. Is Harden who he used to be? Blah, blah, blah. We have the Boston Celtics and that defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're shocking a lot of people. But you still have the Milwaukee. Can Middleton come back? Is he going to come back? Is he able to, do what he can do? We don't know. There's so many storylines within these playoffs. The Miami Heat, you know what I'm saying? Are they who we think they are? You know what I'm saying? What's up with people not showing up to like the third quarter to the games? We don't know. All that shit. But we're here about it. We're going to talk about it. And I want to start off. Guys, first and foremost, what is your favorite series going on right now? Like, if you had to pick one, what's your favorite series going on right now? What do you call it in the playoffs?
I think I'm going to steal Javi's answer, but it is Boston, Milwaukee. It's probably been the closest series, I think, out of the four series going on right now. Obviously, not having Middleton there hurts Milwaukee, because I firmly think that if they would have Middleton, they might be up right now, maybe 3-1. Considering how close some those games have been, having Middleton out there to kind of spread out the floor and not everyone kind of collapse on Giannis, because you look at Giannis when he has the ball at the top of the key, like three guys waiting for him, and that defense is already tough enough as it is on alone. But now they keying on him because they're like we're not going to respect everyone else fully like they would if Middleton was out there. So.
Mm-hmm.
So it just feels like it's just like a back and forth, except for maybe that one game where we had talked about it a couple of weeks ago where, Boston just shot the shit out of shot the lights out on Milwaukee. But I think that's been kind of the series that I've enjoyed the most. The back and forth in Golden State, the hard fouls or the dirty fouls or the.
That's the one, bro.
I mean, I can understand why it's interesting, but it's not to me basketball. You know what I'm saying?
I guess if you're a purist and you're just about the sport, I get it.
But winning and losing,
for
right?
me, it's like the drama adds to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
especially because it's an up and coming team, and it sets the stage for maybe next year or the year after that. Like, this is a team that now I'm like, oh shit! If Memphis has,
but now it's meaningless to me because Ja's out.
So, that's shitty, man.
So I guess it was going to be my second one, but now if he's not coming back, it's meaningless to me. But I think just in general, I think Milwaukee Boston has been my favorite series out of it because it's still Giannis is still kind of keeping them around. We'll see what happens tonight. I guess we'll know for sure, but kind of showing how much of a superstar he is, MVP player he is, unlike the other MVP candidate. That I get it. He's dealing with the eye and the thumb but
Oh,
I mean,
you're being
yesterday,
harsh. You think you're being harsh? You don't think you're
no,
being
no,
harsh?
no, no, no. What I'm saying is because of yesterday is kind of what's kind of making me lead to say that that whole team didn't show up from the beginning, from the first second of that game. They weren't there. You know, it wasn't like maybe it was back and forth, and then in the end, because Miami's too deep and blah blah blah. That whole team didn't show up. You know, and if you're an MVP player, you either lead, or even if you just dominated on your own and the rest of your team didn't show up, then you can rip your team. But you just didn't see anything.
My
You
thing
know
is
what I'm
this,
saying?
right, Pablo? I got a question for you. Does that now fall at the feet of the coach?
It falls the feet of everybody.
I would
That,
listen. If it's one or two players, if it's whatever.
no, but Doc Rivers' thing is that he's had leads in series and then he can't close the deal. This is still back and forth. This is still a 3-2 series. Doc's thing has been he's been up 3-1 multiple times and he can't close the deal. That's on him. But I'm talking about just yesterday's game. I think that was a collective because if you look at the during
That sounds like
watching
me
that
as a
game.
teenager.
No, but even in
I'm up 3-1. I
they
still
played
couldn't close the deal.
they played nice. They played sound of Doc Rivers telling them yo, come on, we need to show more effort. You know what I'm saying? So he was trying to get them to go in that game when you would listen in on some of those timeouts, and they just didn't respond from the beginning. Maybe they were partying out here last night. Who knows, man?
Yeah, it could be. They're in Miami. They are in Miami. Javi, what was your favorite series so far? Or what's your favorite storyline that you've seen in the NBA playoffs?
I'll start off with, I agree with Pablo. I think Boston and Milwaukee has been the most exciting series per se. I do agree also with if Chris Middleton was there, I think this is a different series. Yeah. A lot of it is falling on Giannis right now. So he doesn't have all that space. You put in Middleton and the speed that there's more space to create, not only for Giannis, but also for Middleton as well. Middleton could go one-on-one with just about anybody. He's a very good one-on-one player. Kind of reminds me of Joe Johnson. I'm not too sure.
Shot. Yeah.
He could go one-on-one with just about anybody. He's got the shot. He could take, he's got a good dribble to basically take you to the hole. So, the storyline right now is, can Giannis just keep on, willing his team to win right now? I'm not saying that it's a bad team. I just don't think they have that second scorer right now that's consistent besides Giannis. It's not happening with Drew Holiday. Great defensive player. Lopez will give you some, but you just don't see that second scorer right now. Yeah, but the story. Go ahead.
No, it's like you can't depend on Grayson Allen.
You can't. You just can't depend. They might give you a game.
Maybe Bobby Portis off the bench, but
exactly. But you're not going to get a consistent 20 like you would get from Middleton. But storyline right now, it's got to be the Warriors and the Grizzlies, right? With Kerr calling out, what's his name, Dylan. That he broke the code. That wasn't a basketball play.
What do you guys think of that? Let's go there.
Look, man, I grew up 80s, 90s basketball, when playoffs, where those were just basically playoff hard fouls. Nowadays it's a flagrant something, and I understand where Kerr is going with it, but at the same time, you're not trying to give easy baskets in the playoffs, right? Every single point kind of counts right now. So, do you give a little bit of leeway? So my whole thing with that is how are you going to say that when you have probably the biggest guilty person on your team with Draymond Green that's been doing it for years, always hovering that border, that borderline, sometimes crossing over, so that's why it gets a little bit, suspicious when.
You're right. You're right about that.
You're not the guy to say
it's hypocritical.
Yeah. You're not the one that should be saying this. I know you're protecting your team, but at the same time, you're not the one that should be saying this at this moment. Then on top of that, the very next game, you have Jordan Poole kind of tug on Ja Morant's knee, and now Ja Morant is out for the playoffs. And not a lick or word from Steve Kerr.
Yeah, but on that one, I mean, I was kind of on that too. You know what I'm saying? From the Kerr perspective, I agree with you. But it's a bone bruise. I don't think that little touch would initiate a bone bruise.
What I'm trying to say is that he was trying to maneuver, right? And at the same time, you're getting tugged at while you're trying to go the other way. So that might have been the bone bruise might have been just basically bone on bone right there when he's trying to basically go from one side and the bone just kind of snapping a little bit, like a little. The little give, right? That little give was basically where it all happened. He got hurt on that play. Yes or no, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a little swelling.
So,
I mean, he can't obviously play like that, but you know.
I know what a bone bruise is, bro. It's the weirdest thing because it's like, bro, there's no actual swelling. There's really nothing. It's just a bone bruise, and you just can't move your freaking knee, man. It sucks. So, at the same time, that's why I go back to where Kerr, like, you're not the guy to say anything like that. And then on top of that,
for sure.
your player does it the very next game, and you're quiet about that. While John Moran even questioned it. Is that a basketball move?
Yeah.
And anyways, just like Bruno, big up on the comments, Brew. Yes, the refs have been making horrible calls throughout the playoffs. This goes back to what we were talking about pre-show, right? The umpiring, the refereeing. There's going to be a lot of bad calls. I think we're just going to have to live with it going forward because these are humans. These are not machines. Man, I see it in soccer. I see it in basketball. I see it in football. I see it in every sport right now. There's just not much you can do, except live with it. Because if we're going to go back to maybe a game-changing play, I think it was game 3 against the Bucks versus the Celtics, where Marcus Smart was shooting the 3, and they only gave him 2 shots. And you're just there like, I saw the play. I was like, he was shooting at that moment when he got fouled, And then on top of that, I think there was a Tatum that wasn't called on prior to that. So there's been bad calls throughout the whole playoffs. But I will go back to the Warriors and Grizzlies. I'm actually rooting for the Warriors because I do like them as a team. I like the way they play basketball. But I don't know if they got to take. I don't know if the Suns make it. I don't know if they could beat the Suns. I really feel like the Grizzlies have shown how to beat the Warriors. Bro, it's barbecue chicken in the paint. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand why the coach from the Grizzlies took out Adams. Adams was having his way in the paint. Once he took him out and put Jaren Jackson in, Jaren Jackson just felt like he's a three-point shooter. When you're 7 foot and there's really nobody out there on the Warriors that's over 6'9", which is Draymond Green, you should be barbecuing chicken inside the paint every single time, bro. I don't understand sometimes these coaches why they overthink things. But anyways, man, I love the playoffs so far. The Heat look like, they found a little bit of their groove. But again, let's just go back to this, with Embiid. With Embiid, the Sixers are 2-1. But they have not won a road game. So now I wonder, is it and I know I call them scrubs. I know they're not scrubs. I know they're NBA players. But we're talking about the role players. It seems like the role players just don't step up in away games. And that's all it's showing right now. The role players play great at home. And that's why the Heat have won 3 games at home. And that's why the Rockets, while James Harden did pick up, in game 4, that's why the Rockets, not the Rockets, the Sixers won those 2 games at home. It's just, it seems like the role players play more of a role at the home games, but you need those star players to play great on those away games. And that's what the 76ers have not gotten from James Harden in any of the 3 road games. I know Embiid got hurt again yesterday, and that was key, but they need to, if they're going to win this series, obviously they got to win one at home, which I always feel like the role players will play better. But if they take it back to Miami, to me, it's about Embiid and Harden. Are they going to be better than Jimmy Butler? Or are they going to be better than Bam Adebayo as well?
Yeah, they're just deep. And
they are deep. But if you actually take a look at the star players, you know that Embiid's probably the best player on the court.
1,000%.
You know what I'm saying? So he could dominate at every single moment. Obviously, he gets hit in the face and the whole game changes. But James Harden's not doing anything. While Jimmy Butler, at home or away is doing something.
Right.
So it's all about Harden stepping up, to tell you the truth. Harden doesn't step up. I like Maxey, but the ball's more in Harden's hands. So he has to do more.
Oh, for sure.
We got some comments. Hi, Javi. My man Red says, nah, man, he grabbed my man's kneecap. Okay, well, Tyson, too many big men want to be a shooting guard. It's true. Harden steps up once a series, bumps us. And be still hurt. It's tough to get out Harden is hot dog water.
And that's always been with Harden for me. Like I know I've been saying Flopadelphia, you know what I'm saying? I not because they flop on fouls, more because James Harden's a flop in the playoffs. So like, I'm not calling out Embiid yet because I think Embiid has always played pretty good in the playoffs. I'm calling out Harden. He's been a flop in the playoffs. For all that regular season prowess that he's shown, he's nothing near the same in the playoffs. So that's why I'm kind of
I have a question for you, Hav, right? I got a question for you. Why is it that we're so hard on James Harden and we don't keep that same energy with Chris Paul?
Because James Harden was an MVP.
You got a top 50 player. If Russ takes the hell out of me, and please, I want people to chime in. Let us know. Do you think that Chris Paul gets a pass? I think Chris Paul gets a pass for some reason. I don't know why.
Well,
I don't know why you think that though. Like,
here's my thing. Here's my thing. It's a valid question to think. You don't get it done either, Chris Paul. But there's a difference as to the reasons why one doesn't get it done versus the other. Okay. Paul's been legitimately injured that he's out multiple games in a playoff series. Where Harden,
it's not
throughout his career, it hasn't been the injury. He just don't show up. You know what I'm saying? Because if Chris Paul's out there, he's gonna go. You can't question his ability to want to go because he'll go.
But here's the thing, Pablo. We can't give more weight. We can't give more weight to availability than we do to. I value them the same.
You know why I do?
Mental.
No, of course you can, because one guy, if he's out there, will go. It's just his body, bad timing, whatever you want to call it. He's older, whatever. Harden is there, and he's not showing you that he wants to go.
Somebody just put Chris Paul is a winner. Harden isn't. What has Chris Paul won? What?
But see, I'm not saying he's a winner. I'm just saying is that if you said, give me somebody that'll give you what they got, versus somebody who can give you and they don't, who are you going to take?
No. You can't do that. Because, give me what you got. I don't have it because I'm hurt. Okay,
but winning championships, you can say that both of them don't get it done. That's fine.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, Pablo. I'm saying that they both don't get it done. And keep the same energy you have with Harden as you have with Chris Paul. Chris Paul, for some reason, because he has this leadership aura, he's a point guard. I don't know.
You're telling me. So here's the difference. Here's the difference. Just for you to understand, is Chris Paul choosing to get hurt? Is he saying I want to get hurt? Is James Harden saying I'm not gonna give it all my all?
No, I don't think so.
So you've seen Harden ball out throughout his career in the regular season, and all of a sudden in the playoffs, he has a totally different.
I can't say that, but what I can say is this: if your best ability, your best ability is your availability, and if you can't be there, then guess what? At least I got somebody who's there.
But you said keep the same energy. I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro.
What type of energy? Not done. Here's my question: what energy are you talking about? Hey, you can't get it done. Is that the energy you're talking about? Okay, then they both can't get it done. But who am I going to rip on more to say you can't get it done because your body gives out on you at the worst times, or you don't get it done because you just don't even want to show up?
Yeah. But here's the deal, right? At the end of the day, they don't get it done. Why is it that this is exactly what I'm trying to address here? I feel like CP3 gets this pass like he's kind of like a winner, but he's not. The truth is the numbers don't add up. He's not a winner. He hasn't won anything. Don't worry about. He could have been in Houston. He could have, would have, should have, but he has not.
But when you say winner, you're just talking about championships?
Yeah, like he's not that guy. Like we put him up there with Steph, LeBron, with like in this aura, and he's not. He's a Harden guy. Right. So he's at Harden level to me.
Add him to the list of all these other superstar players in the history of the league that aren't winners.
Charles Barkley's not a winner. Look, I'm being
not a winner. John Stockton's not a winner.
No, I'm being harsh. What I'm trying to say is that I just find it odd. I just find it odd that if we just went straight accomplishments, Harden has a better career.
I think Chris Paul's a better teammate. I think Chris Paul makes the team better.
Chris Paul's an actual leader. He's actually a leader.
I'm gonna say it like this.
Where's the proof?
I'll tell you right now. Here's my proof. The best season the Houston Rockets ever had, regular season, while Chris Paul was on the team. He leaves. How many less games do they win? About almost 20. He goes to the Oklahoma City Thunder with no Russell Westbrook, with no Paul George, none of them. They have one more win than the season before than Oklahoma. That's how good Chris Paul means to a team. That's why before the Suns, they never made a run like that, like they did last year prior to him. Where were they the year before? They didn't make the playoffs, Mike. They made it to the NBA championship. What are they this year? They're the number one seed. Are they the number one seed? They're the number one seed again.
Another hot take. Go ahead, finish your thought.
So I'm just saying, when it comes to it, James Harden has benefited. So has Devin Booker. So has David West and Tyson Chandler when they were on the Hornets. He's been a winner everywhere he has gone.
James Harden doesn't have the testicular fortitude to want to lead and win a championship.
That's a wrestling. He hit us with the wrestling. What do you call it? I got a question for you guys. Okay, so we're on the basketball. We're on the playoffs. We're talking Luka Doncic, and this is an original thought. I completely got this from. I think I was listening to Dan. No. Old school announcer, whatever. I can't remember his name, but on Fox Sports, what do you call it, down here in Miami, and the early morning show, and he was saying, he made a hot take. His hot take was
Lebitard?
No, not Lebitard.
No, Lebitard's not on Fox.
No, this guy, he's the one. Man, oh God, what the hell is Dan Patrick? Is it Dan Patrick?
Could be Dan Patrick.
He's not on Fox.
Is he NBC?
No, Patrick's got his own podcast network.
Yeah, that's the one. Him, Dan Patrick in the morning.
Yeah.
So check it out. He makes a hot take, and his hot take is he cannot put Luka Doncic, right, in the elite category, although he feels he's elite offensively, until he learns how to play defense. He said he's a horrible defensive player.
He is a horrible defensive player.
So he says
he's also on the same diet as Zion Williamson, apparently. So
he's also what?
He's on the same diet as Zion Williamson.
Oh shit! Yeah,
but he plays.
No, that's the thing. Yeah. So my question to you guys is: can you put him, or does his offensive prowess supersede the fact that or cover up the fact that he can't play defense?
I don't think he's an MVP candidate, but I mean, I don't think he is. I think he's a superstar.
He's a superstar because that boy can get buckets, right? So, you know, if you actually take a look at that team, I don't even know how they won 2 games. Take a look at that team. Who's around them? Can you name somebody that you're really...
Yeah, Finney Smith, because to your point earlier about role players show up at home because it's more comfortable. So that's what happened. The role players showed up at home and then they squeaked them out.
But again, you know, you're still facing Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and Ayton. Yeah. You know? So,
but they were close games. So I mean, weren't they close games? I don't remember.
No, the one they blew out the Suns.
No, the one they blew them out.
Yeah,
so,
but
I get role players showed up. Role players showed up. I mean, that's really it.
I get it, and I'm not taking anything away from the role players. But when you look at the role players, who are you looking at? Say like they should actually be better than
Brunson. Is probably Brunson will probably
Brunson right now. Brunson has the one that's been showing up. Obviously, a little bit of Finney Smith, obviously, but
Max Kleber, maybe Max Kleber. You know, he can hit threes.
They were drawing threes. That one game, they were just burying threes, and it was just like, all right, there's just really nothing.
That's all it was. Yeah, I mean, they were just on fire from the outside.
So, like at this point, you know, they're gonna need somebody else, like another, like a superstar A or B, to be more of defensive minded, right? Because who do you put Luka on right now? He's not going to be able to keep up with CP3. He's not going to be keeping up with Devin Booker, and obviously he's not going to be able to guard 8. So when you put him on Mikal Bridges, you know, do you put him on Johnson? You know, and they look like they could get around them any single time they want as well. You know, so at this point, you know, they're just going to have to find better defensive players to kind of like hide him. In a way,
yeah, that's exactly. Hide him. Exactly.
You're gonna have to try to hide him somehow, you know, and hopefully, you know, the help defense is just that good.
I mean, I haven't seen what type of defense, but I mean, they don't play zone, right? Or they play man to man. What do they play? Because that's the only way. That's the only way you hide someone is you got to play zone, and just hope that you can commit to the switching as you need it. But other than that, I mean, you can't hide a guy like that.
He's just even with the zone, there's always going to be somebody that's open because he's just not going to cover the ground too fast. So Jason Kidd kind of understands that he has to go man to man, unless he plays, a form of a 1-3-1, and just put him right in the middle on the freaking.
I mean, because I think they're just putting Dinwiddie in the middle, right?
Yeah,
he's been struggling. Should be better.
He's been hurt so many times that you're just not going to get the same Dinwiddie that used to be on the Nets.
Yeah,
he was good at one point, but just the injuries looked like they caught up to him. But
you're right. Luka needs somebody else. Then you need another viable.
And that's why they got Kristaps Porzingis, because they thought he was going to be that guy.
But apparently
he just gets hurt all the time too.
Apparently, that's what his beef was. His beef was, well, I don't really know what his beef was. This is just one of the sources they were talking about, was that he couldn't justify Luka being so ball control heavy, right? And not playing on the other side of the ball. He was like, that it was frustrating, and that it's going to be hard to match him up with another superstar, and to make that transition to win because of the type of ball that he plays. Nobody wants to be. It's like that James Harden. Nobody wants to be on a team with a guy who's you're going to drop 40, but you play zero defense. You know what I mean? So you're as much as a liability as you are an asset to us. You know what I mean? And when you're a fellow superstar, you're kind of looking at this guy like, bro, you're making my job harder. This is crazy.
But they hit James Harden well on the Rockets, though. They had PJ Tucker, Chris Paul, what's his name? Capella.
Trevor
Ariza. All guys that
they had defenders. They had defenders on that.
So that's how you're gonna have to do it with Luka, because that's what they did with Harden. They just put Harden on the worst guy and just said, just stay in front of him at this point, and we'll help you out. That's what they're gonna have to do with Luka.
Yeah, like if he gets by you somehow, which we don't think he will, we'll back you up on the back end. But
I think Luka's when it comes to.
I think if you give Luka Bradley Beal, at least from an offensive perspective, I think Beal would probably fit on that team. He's a shooter.
See, I think yes, but I think you need one of these hard-nosed, strictly defensive players as well. Like I think you need a who's a bruiser on defense.
A guard? Are you talking about a guard? Because it has to be a guard.
No. I'm talking about like to hide him down low, like to kind of have his back, like protect the rim, like a rim protector. You know what I mean? Somebody that when he gets blown past, they're like, no. I still gotta make sure I don't. You know what I
mean? There's not that many in the league in general.
They had that with Clint Capella.
Yeah, I'll tell you who doesn't get a lot of credit for it, but he did a decent job when he was with the Warriors at it. Like a JaVale McGee.
Oh, I was just thinking that guy right now. I swear to you, I was thinking about that.
He doesn't have to be ultimately talented, but he has to be big and be able to protect that rim.
He's athletic.
Yeah, he's a rim protector. Somebody like that.
He gets off his toes pretty fast. Like
somebody that makes people think twice about. Okay, I could beat him, but I'm gonna have to face something later on. You know what I mean? Those kind of guys would benefit, and he's not asking for the ball on offense. You know what I mean? So he's not being affected on offense. It's more like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to get the ball, a couple of times a game. Just,
I know the perfect guy. I know the perfect guy, and I know he's a Knick. Mitchell Robinson would be great over there because he's a rim protector. You know what I'm saying? He gets a lot of offensive rebounds as well. So he could be like that guy because he does play a lot of good. He plays defense, and I'm a Knick fan. That boy gets up. Mitchell Robinson jumps up real fast.
Whatever happened to Hassan Whiteside?
Nothing happened to Hassan Whiteside.
He was Portland, right?
He was on Troy. No, but I think he went to the. Wasn't he on the Jazz after that?
Let me find out. I'll tell you right now.
He was in there. He was a rim protector, bro.
I thought he was in the playoffs. I thought he was in the playoffs this time around. I think he might have been on the Jazz.
Say right now. Yeah, he's on the Jazz.
Yeah, he was on the Jazz. He
didn't get. Yeah, disappeared. Holy shit!
Mark Cuban, they should just trade for Rudy Gobert because they got to separate.
Well, that's another thing. Like the Jazz are at the point of like
they got to blow it up.
Like, they might have to blow it up a little bit, but the
Mitchell to the Knicks.
I'll take it.
Everyone to the Knicks, like a typical Knicks fan. Everyone.
I got. Okay, so
and nobody wants to go to the Knicks.
That just brings something else up. Rudy Gobert says
he would lock down Shaq.
That he would lock down Shaq.
He would get destroyed.
What
He
is
destroyed.
wrong with that guy? He got to be kidding me.
He's got COVID. brain.
There is no universe, right? There's no universe in which that guy stands a chance. I'm thinking Shaq puts up like video game numbers on his ass.
Well, here's the funny part, right? I'm thinking, all right, who did Shaq face that was pretty similar? And I go, David Robinson, right? David Robinson had that lanky look, could just.
But he wasn't strong. Like he didn't have the ball.
Okay, listen.
But
Yao Ming was
Rudy
the
Gobert
only
isn't
guy.
big
Yao
either.
Ming was the only guy that could sit there and take Shaq's blows.
No,
Yeah.
but what I'm trying to say is even David Robinson
He
was
couldn't.
getting
Yeah.
was
Elijah
getting
one
third.
couldn't
So that's what
either.
I'm saying. Rudy Gobert has no chance of locking
Zero
anybody up.
And here's the thing that David Robinson did that Rudy Gobert cannot do:
Score.
score. So he's gonna make you play both ends of the floor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which right in there, you
Elijah
have
one too. Elijah one will fucking make Shaq.
Elijah.
man.
Forget it. Elijah want to dance around all these guys.
What
He would
do you
dance
think?
around all these guys. Forget
What
it.
about Embiid?
Okay.
I think that would be a good
It
matchup
would be
because
a good matchup.
because Embiid's got that leg work like Elijah.
But I don't think he's as physical.
Because he has a little bit of a touch.
I
from
think
the outside.
Embiid could be physical. If you tell him, yeah, you can defend like back in the day you can defend. I think Embiid could do it.
I'd like to see it. I don't know. Maybe. Especially you take him out to the outside into your 3-point range.
Embiid will make Shaq work on the perimeter. I mean, you're going to have to respect it, Shaq. You're gonna
Definitely
have
make
to
him
come
sink. Definitely. All right, guys. We're going to touch a little bit on some MLB. What do you call it? It's early in the season. There was a no-hitter, right? I believe there was a no-hitter today, right? That was kind of dope.
Well,
That was yesterday.
yesterday,
call it?
there were two.
Yesterday.
There were two yesterday.
The Angels also had one because what's his name? Syndergaard made sure to point out that
Fucking
there's
bastard.
only required one pitcher while
Fucking bastard. Fucking
Yeah.
bastard. I hope he gets fucking
Decided
injured.
to
Now
do
I
it.
want him to get injured. Like I hope you fucking tear your elbow out.
That's
You
fucked
know?
up.
he
Pablo,
decided to go there. Yeah.
What's the word with the Mets, man? What are you thinking? You think it's sustainable? Or are you thinking what?
I think so because they're going out there, not having the Grom out there, and they're going with the 2 through 5, 2 through 4 rotation guys. Their run differential is.
Oh, this is
I was just looking at it the other day.
This is-
I think it's 140 like to 102, so it's only a 38 run difference. Yeah, 140 to 102. It's third best in the league right now. Fourth best in the league right now. Something like that. They're up there. They're top 5.
Okay.
So the pitching's holding on, and they're getting the hits. They're getting the runs. Collectively as a unit, the pitching is holding on. Yeah, they got a no hitter collectively. Whatever. I'll take it.
Okay.
Because in the past, even with the success that they've had the past couple of years, where they get off to a hot start, eventually that they lose the pitching because of injuries. It's the same story: injury.
Mhm.
So it's there, but like I've said in the past, I'm happy with the moves they made in offseason. I'm happy that they're starting off great. Talk to me after the All-Star break.
Yeah, that's usually when the
Just because the past couple of years, that's what's happened. They've
All right.
fallen apart.
Let me be the Yankee fan to basically hype up the Met fans right now. You guys got a really good team. You guys are good. Keep the faith. I'm telling you, this is a good team, bro. I've watched a couple of
I'm with
games.
you, Javi. This is the first time. I don't mean to cut you off, but this is the first time I'm with you on that. You made a great point because this is the first time that I've been watching. Like I've actually caught a couple of I've actually been watching the Mets, and I'm like, this is sustainable, bro. Like this hitting, like the way they're playing the field, they're hitting, even the way their lineup is set up. I'm like,
They're coming back.
No.
They're coming back.
Don't get me wrong. I'm happy about it, but I just can't.
No, I get it.
I'm seeing the same story the last 2 years. So,
but I've seen it too, and I'm seeing something different. Let's just put it this way: there's a new ownership. There's new ownership.
The mentality is completely different in that log.
You got a mental guy like Max Scherzer there. He's actually your number one, and that guy is a leader. He builds. He's a World Series champ. So right then and there's a guy that's basically going to tell you,
Yeah.
We got this. We're gonna win. Don't worry about it. Just he already know, bro. They were not supposed to beat the Astros that year. You know what I'm saying? And they did. And he was part of the reason. You guys got a good pitching staff. You got good hitters. You just got rid of Robinson Cano, dead weight. You know what I'm saying? They're making the smart moves. Why keep Robinson Cano at this point? No reason. Let him go. That's why I'm saying the old Met regime, they would have just kept him there. They would have just kept him there. The Mets are different right now. You know what I'm saying? This guy's not playing.
I like Jeff McNeil better than I did Cano. So we just needed him to kind of, I like where he's in the lineup right now. Down towards the bottom, but he's plays really good second base. So yeah, like I said, I am happy with the mentality and the transition. I just, I want to see it after the All-Star break. Like that's what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? So,
okay,
but I believe.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, bettors and Vegas likes the Mets. They're the team that makes the second most money for bettors right now. They're paying $662 for every $100.
Hey.
So, and
That's
then
not bad.
Yankees are right under them with $428.
Shit, you hear that, Pablo?
Yeah, I know.
He's like, I'm already on it.
betting and being a fan are two different situations. One's business, one's personal.
Yeah.
I had to bring it up for Pablo. I had to.
So yeah.
What do you call it?
I can't.
Yeah. What are you talking about baseball wise? I know you always got some gems for us.
So the Yankees just had to bring on another pitcher to their staff because they're going to be playing 22 games in 23 days, and they've been working with 5 starting pitchers. So they're bringing in Luis Gil.
Do you think the way the Yankees are hitting, the way their lineup is set up, because I definitely, and this is crazy to me, but I feel like the Mets is more sustainable than what the Yankees are doing. We're relying,
right?
we're going back to long ball, relying early, heavy lineup early. You know what I'm saying? The back half of our lineup, let's be honest, it's been doing okay recently,
Right.
But dude, that's not scaring anybody.
No.
I want to say 6 through 9. Nobody. Who's scared of 6 through 9 with us?
And I'm not really a fan right now of DeMahieu and Donaldson and their lack of hustle. Like literally the other day, one of them, I can't remember which one right now, had a chance to get to first base when the shortstop bobbled the ball, and he was just like, meh, if I get there, if I don't. They're not playing. I love the exciting short field play. That's what gets me going. And Boone said that he talked to them afterwards, and the result was like in the 8th inning, Donaldson jogged to first base. Like it wasn't that kind of stuff annoys me. You're getting played to play the big game. Hustle, run your butt off. I don't care if it looks like someone's going to catch it. Run. You're paid to do that. Run. It annoys me.
What about our pitching staff, Javi? You think the Yankees pitching staff, what do you think they're looking like?
Bro, that's been the biggest surprise so far, to tell you the truth. They're not giving up many runs. You got, Nestor Cortez has been basically lights out.
Lights out. I love that guy.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what started clicking, but he's just on a different wavelength. He's not throwing balls right past you, right? He's not throwing 100.
No, he's using change.
He's just very crafty.
A variety of pitches.
Yeah, he's giving it to you from different angles. He gives you a different wide up. So he's changing, your timing a lot. So I like what he's doing. So then all of a sudden the next day you're going against Severino. Then after that, you're going to face a Tallison, and then you're going to go back to basically the guy that kind of stunk it up at the beginning of the year, but it's looking like a Cy Young
he's looking like he's going to be worth the money.
You know what I'm saying? Garrett Cole's pitching like Garrett Cole, right? So like it feels like, and our bullpen has just been pretty much lights out. I'm going to be honest. I've never been a Chapman fan, and I'm never going to be a big Chapman fan.
Mhm.
We all got.
He's always been a question mark to me.
We've been spoiled. We got spoiled with Mariano Rivera, right?
Come on, bro.
Mhm.
And now we get this guy, and it feels like, I just feel like he's gonna blow it. He's gonna blow it. And like I hate that feeling, and I always feel like let's just do bullpen by committee, which it happens, but it feels like Boone feels like he has to always give this guy the confidence, and even though I feel like at times Boone doesn't have 100% confidence, I think he does it just to give the guy confidence, right? But again, I think our pitching staff is what's been the most surprising, because I'm not surprised about Judge hitting home runs, in a contract year now, leading the league in home runs. It just works that way. Like he's gonna have the best season now. Now he's gonna demand he's gonna demand that $40 million to $50 million a year. And somebody's gonna give it to him. Is it gonna be the Yankees? I don't know. But somebody's
He's
gonna
the
give it to
face.
him.
He's the face. They might.
They might. And I'm not saying I would love to have Judge, but we've been burned with these kind of contracts.
Yeah.
We still got Stanton. That's why I'm just there we're gonna pay another guy that amount of money, for so long. Stanton's been hitting bombs as well. What's our first baseman? Rizzo. He's kind of calmed down, but we got guys that are just gonna hit home runs. Now the bottom half of the lineup, or the bottom third of the lineup, the only guy that's looking kind of good is Gleyber Torres.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So he's the one that hit off the walk-off the other day, So, it's either going to be, Kyle, is that his name? The catcher, Kyle Higashioka, what's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Or I forget the guy with the two last names, that shortstop. I don't even know how to pronounce it. But I think the Yankees will always be dependent on the long ball. I've never liked it.
That's what worries me, man. That's what worries me.
Because come playoffs, I always say, just get on base, man. Make the pitcher work. We are a team of a bunch of strikeout guys, and that kills me, because it's like, you're not really making in this day and age, the starter doesn't go 9 innings anymore.
No, you were talking about, and especially now with the pitch count early in the season. They're not going deep into games at all.
They're going into 5 innings, and then it's the bullpen, and then these guys are throwing 99, blazing fastballs with a crazy curveball or slider
for an inning and a half, yeah.
And they're gonna give you the smoke for for that 1 inning. So you're just facing smoke the whole 9 innings now, if you really think about it.
Yeah, you see heat all the way through.
And unless we're just, unless we're hitting home runs, we're not doing much. We came back the other day because of home runs. 2-3 run home runs, one by Stanton and then one by Judge to walk it off. But the good thing is that there was people on base. Those are the home runs I do like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Oh, wait, there's a young guy. There's a young pitcher I want you guys to look up for the Yankees. He plays for the Patriots. His name is Ken Waldichuk.
Mm-hmm.
And the Patriots right now, they're second. Now they're only single A, but they're second in the entire MILB right now.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Waldichuk, they're talking about bumping him up to Wilkes-Barre already. He's got a 1.14 ERA with 23.2 innings pitched, 10 hits, 9 walks, and 40 strikeouts, and a 127 BAA.
So you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Jen is calling him the future.
I do.
I think he's coming. She's putting her stamp. We're going to put it down. Stamp of approval by Jen. I love it.
He's going to do it.
I love it. That's that's the kind of bold shit I like. You find somebody, an obscure name, somebody that you saw potential in, you put your stamp on them early. So 6 months from now, when people are talking about him, we could be like, yo, Jen told us about him months ago. I love that.
And the good overall thing about it is that because both New York teams are playing well, it's good for the
series,
league.
baby.
It's good for the league, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
yeah, for sure.
Obviously you have the Dodgers in first place on the West Coast, and then so the Angels,
all big market teams.
The Angels are 21 and 11. Let's hope with Trout and Ohtani, screw Syndergaard, but everyone else, that's because that Angels team, they should have been better now with all that talent.
Mhm.
So
I still want a
let's
Subway
see.
series in October. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah, man. Oh my God, bring that back. That's a dope. Some of the best games I've ever been to were Subway Series.
Yeah, it
That
was.
shit was dope. All right, guys. So now we're moving on, man. So like I said earlier, we had an action-packed sports weekend, man. And one of the things that was going on was the UFC had a big card with some amazing fights, great knockouts, some serious action, right?
There was a long
And then
break
you,
in one of the fights.
oh yeah, and then you had boxing with probably its biggest superstar out there taking a leap to a heavier weight class, and that created its own set of drama and kind of made a trickle effect throughout boxing. So we're going to talk about that. But let's start off with the UFC card, man. Javito, I know you wanted to talk about your boy Oliveira.
Yeah, man. Let me bring it 2 fights before that though, before I get to Oliveira. Wow, Michael Chandler, what a freaking front kick to knock this guy and out.
He
You know,
punted
like
him.
what the hell was I'm not gonna lie, I thought he died. I thought he died, man. That guy was on the floor for about way over 2 minutes, man. Like I remember Joe
he was out
Rogan
for a while.
saying, like,
He was out.
like Joe Rogan and
He's still down. He's like, he's still down.
He's still down. He's still
Cormier,
unconscious.
I think it was Cormier. Like, yeah, he's
And
still
I'm just
out.
there, like
That's
I'm in my
scary.
head, I'm there, like, is he dead? Because he's not moving.
He's not
No.
moving.
But anyways, man, big up to Michael Chandler. Awesome, just to see, the type of, competitor he is, and at the same time, right after that, talking about his son. That was his son's first time to watch him fight. Brought him out, caught me by surprise. But I was just there like, bro, that's dope right there. That was awesome. See his wife, see his family. And you know what, man? I it's not that I'm a Michael Chandler fan, but I like to watch his fights because he brings it. He brings action all the time. Now, let's get to the next fight after that. I'm not going to call it a fight. Let's just call it,
A long break.
5
bathroom
rounds
break.
of absolutely nothing. And Thug Rose, I am going to take the Thug out of that. You are just now Rose again because there was nothing Thug about you that whole fight, man. You disappointed everybody. I know you disappointed yourself. You need to be a champion at every single fight. And what that means is you're going to have to put your freaking chin on the line at times, man.
She was
And
scared.
she didn't do that at all.
She fought scared.
And
She
the
fought scared,
crazy
man.
part about this is just that, like, I wonder if the fight that she lost to Carla Esparza 8 years ago was just there in her head the whole time. And that's why she never engaged and to try to basically fight. Because I just don't know what she was really trying to do. She didn't try to fight. But anyways, can we talk about maybe the best pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC, MMA, named Charles Dubront Oliveira? That boy is nasty. Nasty. I don't get it. He gets knocked down. Nobody wants to go jump on him and take him out.
Twice.
Everybody. Gaethje dropped him twice. And the one time he tried, and then he was like, nah, this is not where it is. Let me get back up. And then after that, it's just a mind. I guess it's, the mind is blown because Justin Gaethje must be thinking, I just knocked this guy 2 times and he's coming at me with all his will now. And I think once Gaethje just got knocked down, when he went to try to go into the triangle and all of a sudden he immediately just went right into a rear naked choke. I was just there like, right there, I go, this guy's got to be probably the best pound for pound. I know we're going to talk about Usman. I know we're going to talk about Izzy. But this guy's right up there because he has beaten Chandler. He's beaten Poirier. And now he's beating Gaethje. Those are 3 straight fights, man. And he's won them all. Basically, no decision. He's choked 2 of them out, and he TK'd Chandler. So, at this point, Usman and Izzy better watch out because there might be somebody out there pound for pound might be taking that title away from you. And I know that the counter fight is what he's talking about. I think right now Oliveira is just there like, I want to get paid. I already beat the best 3 guys. You know, now let me go pay. Let me go get paid. He's calling out Nick Diaz now.
What do you think about them stripping his belt for the weight?
I put that on the entire camp. Like, okay,
Yeah.
how are you gonna go to bed? You know what you're weighing at when you're going to bed on Thursday, bro. Get up in the morning. Don't fucking eat until you weigh in, and then eat. Like what'd you do? Have a fucking bagel or something? Like, what did you know what I'm saying? It's like you should know where you're at from a weight perspective the day before, the night before, and if you're on that border, you know, like, it doesn't take much to get you half a pound. You can have a glass of water.
But I think your body gets to the point where it shuts down and you no longer could lose any weight, whether it's water weight, whether it's anything. So it's like, you know, don't get me wrong. There's a miscalculation somewhere in the camp. There was a miscalculation, right? I give you that. I admit it. Hey, that's true. But shit, man, to be at that point where you're, what was he, a pound over?
Half
a pound. Was it half a kilo or half a pound?
Half a pound.
No, that could be anything, man. That could be anything. A glass of water. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you're there on that borderline, it's on you and the whole camp, really. But you know, especially you to do that because okay, you can say, oh, the body reacted, okay, but then you'd see it happen a lot more often with all these fighters every time there's a fight.
No, it does though. It does. That's the thing. Like that's the thing about weight cutting. A lot of one of the major issues was that they were no longer. They only find the reason they're so quick to like just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna fight. You know, just take some money from my purse because they're only doing. I believe it might have gone as high as 30% of their purse, right? Like it was a quarter, but they don't make weight. Like that. Yeah, but that's what Izzy's beef was. Izzy was like, yo, that doesn't mean shit because a lot of these guys are making money outside of the UFC, so they kind of account for it already. So they're like, they know they're not going to make weight. You know what I mean? It's not that big of pressure. I think that the commission in general needs to make that a bigger fine. They need to make it a bigger percentage of purse that when fighters don't make weight.
But is that up to the state? Is that up to the state commission? Because there isn't a universal commission that oversees.
No, it's per state. Yeah, like each what do you call it, or whatever sanctioning body they're fighting under. The other thing is this: I feel like that half a pound, right, to choose to go after it and not is huge because if you choose to go after it, you risk fatigue and not being able to come back from it. You're gonna fatigue regardless. But there comes a point where if you chase that half a pound, you fatigue and can't come back from it. As opposed to keeping that only a half a pound and not suffering and being able to be fresh the next day. You know what I mean? And literally rebounding because now you're not weighing anymore. So a lot of these fighters, let's say they're fighting at 150. What was it, 155? At 155, they walk into the ring at like 163. You know what I mean? These guys are gaining 5 to 7 pounds of water weight going into the next fight, you know what I mean? I know in boxing there's limits on how much. Sometimes there's limits on how much you can gain after your initial weigh-in. I don't know if that's true about the UFC, but these guys, you know what I'm saying? That half a pound, if you choose to chase it or not, like I've seen where Conor McGregor went after it.
I mean, I guess it depends when you know that you're off that half a pound. Mm-hmm. If you know the day before, all right, then you make your decision. But if you wake up the next, you know, like
he didn't know. I can tell you he did not know until that morning because you can literally, between digestion and going to the bathroom in the morning, you can lose a half to a pound. So I guarantee you he was over the night before. I guarantee you he was over. And he was either betting on being able to lose that overnight or he thought, I mean, we don't know. He could have been running laps in the morning in a sweatsuit. I can tell you from managing wrestling how dropping weight goes. Like he could have, who knows what he weighed the day before.
Yeah, you're right.
But I can guarantee you he weighed more than he did at weigh-in.
And that's kind of to my point about the overall camp understanding where you're at, you know, and getting you there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you know, you can't be shocked that you're on the border one way or the other. You know, the night before. You can't be like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Like you're training all the way up until that point.
Right.
That's got to be on your checklist of where are we at with this? Where we, you know, like, so I just can't sit there and feel bad, you know.
No, definitely not feeling bad. Definitely, look, there's fighters like a Jorge Masvidal, regardless how you feel about him as a fighter, never miss weight. You know what I'm saying? There's fighters that they make that commitment, they sign on the dotted line, they're going to make that weight regardless. You know what I mean? So, you know, you got to, I side with those guys. I'm like, that's why I rock with. I'm like, yo, I respect the shit out of that. You know what I mean? To never have not missed, to never have missed weight.
Man, and that Rose fight, man, it was. I think you get more out of a practice sparring match than you did out of that match.
Yeah, I would like to know what.
I mean, you know what it looked like to
say
me?
A lot of it was her mental state coming in with the leaking of those pictures of her and Dana White. They say that might have fucked her up a little bit.
I mean, I didn't hear about that, so I can't.
There was so she used to mess with Dana apparently, allegedly used to met with Dana White, and there's some pictures of her and him, and the guy, the Brazilian guy, Paulo Costa, is in negotiations and beefing with the UFC, and he posted pictures that he had of Dana White and her, kind of like throwing off her game. I don't know why he would include her.
I mean, for all we know, maybe if I go mentally, but I just know what I saw. And Javi, obviously you're a bigger, obviously UFC fan, and you're very familiar with styles. But you had one that's a striker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then another one that kind of like Oliveira, like you don't want to be on the ground with Esparza, right?
No.
That's from what I took. That's how she is, right? Right with Esparza,
Yes.
that you don't want to be on the ground with her. So it was like Rose just wanted to get a couple of touches in and then kind of play keep away. That's what it looked like to me for, like in that first round. Like she got a couple of shots in, not even real shots, just graze or something, but that got her something. The other one wasn't going to strike. The other one was kind of waiting for her to get close enough to grab her. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like two opposing magnets, just like this, like this. And
that style stylistically wasn't a good fight. I saw some replays. I didn't actually watch the fight.
It was just brutal, man. I was falling asleep.
It was horrible. I'm not.
Falling asleep.
I'm gonna touch on.
Go ahead.
You got about 5 minutes. You said what?
Touch on it, brother.
Okay. So I got this one wrong because coming into the fight, I thought stylistically, Bivol matched up the usual opponent that Canelo would want. Come in, feel the power, walk him down, eventually get intimidated by the aura that is Canelo, and break down, and towards the end probably get a TKO. That's what I thought. Boy, was I wrong. Okay? This guy, Bivol, stylistically, right, matched up beautifully with Canelo because, number one, he did the one thing that a lot of other fighters haven't done. He was not intimidated. Size-wise, he matched up well with him. For every power shot Canelo threw, Bivol hit him with 2-3, countering, bang, bang. But most importantly, he did something, again, that like a Kovalev and a lot of other fighters don't do with Canelo. He fought him very tall, behind a very stiff jab. And when you're bigger and you're able to fight tall behind a stiff jab, and you don't let a Canelo get to you, get to the body, because that's where he wants to go. He wants to go to the body. And you don't allow him to get there, you see the frustration slowly building up. And especially once he realized, I want to say around the fifth round, he was like, oh shit, this game plan is not working. I got to shift. And usually when Canelo shifts, right, and he puts that pressure on, people fold. This guy did not fold, man. Now, the final cards were some shit like 115, 113. They were I was like, bro, me personally watching that fight, I had it 9 rounds to 3. I had it 9 rounds to 3. I didn't have it even close. I had a couple of rounds, nothing was close. There was not one, whether it was punch output, power shots. And this guy, what I think Canelo learned was when you get up in weight to that level, and the skills, because Canelo is supremely skilled, but you get to a point where your power is nullified. You're against somebody that's not scared of you, so the aura is gone. You know what I mean? And now you have to kind of like rely on this set of skills that you haven't had to rely on in a long time. I personally think if he decides, absolutely do not rematch this guy right away. In my opinion, he fights him 10 times, he loses 8. Because of the way they're set up stylistically at that weight class. Now here's the kicker: the guy Bivol said, I'm a small light heavyweight. I'll drop down to 168 to fight you. I'll drop down. If he does that and he fights him at 168, he could take Canelo's belts, all of them. He could, this might be the end. If they go down that route, this could be the end of an era. I personally, if I was in that camp, I would back Canelo away, give him a tune-up fight, lower in the lower weight class, bring him down slowly, because people forget the downfall of Roy Jones. He didn't just fall off the map and his chin just disappeared. He went too far up in weight, and when he tried to come back down, his body no longer responded to the weight loss, the way he came down in weight. You know what I mean? And I think Canelo needs to take that warning and say, okay, cool, I'm not going to go there anymore. Let me come back, fight a couple of these guys at 160, 168 in that weight class. There, take out some of these young guns. Because I think there's a lot of fights there. I don't understand why he wouldn't take them. Now that he knows that the legacy fights that he's putting out there, that's it, bro. That's a wrap, yo. Once you saw the size difference between him and those guys, because what's he gonna do? Try to fight Usyk? Usyk will destroy him. I think he comes back down, maybe has a tune-up fight, and if I was him, I'd go after that Triple G fight and maybe start closing the show. Meaning Triple G fight, and then after that, just kind of like do my farewell tour in boxing. Because I just don't see it. He has nothing less to prove. You know what I'm saying? He's a champ of champs right now. He's the guy. Stop doing that to your body. Stop. That weight gain like that, man. And he looked thick, but he looked blocky. He didn't look fast. He wasn't dodging punches. He wasn't moving like he usually does. He was taking a lot of hits. Now, I don't know how much of that was Bibble being that good and how much of it was Canelo, you know what I'm saying, at that weight class not being able to move. But man, look, it shocked the world. It shocked it shocked Vegas. I'll tell you that much.
Mm-hmm.
Not believe it or not, though, he wasn't favored by that much, so it wasn't like a huge whatever upset. But shit, man, I didn't see it coming personally. I thought he was going to be able to take out Bivol and move on up and kind of do the whole legacy to avoid these young guns. Now he's going to have to fight a Benavidez. He's going to have to fight a Charlo. He's going to have to go down there because there's nowhere else to go, to be honest. But I would say Triple G. Finish it out with Triple G.
I mean, I heard he wanted to exercise the rematch. Did he, or he's just saying he wants to?
Yeah, no, he's saying he does. But again, I don't think it's smart because there's nothing that again, these guys are boxing geniuses. But there's nothing stylistically, right? Because he used two different styles in the fight. So he made an adjustment, right? Basically, you'd have to get a guy he'd have to relearn a whole new style to beat this guy. Can he do it? He's Canelo Alvarez, man. Maybe he can.
How much did he come up?
Well, what
did he actually weigh in at? I mean, not obviously.
He fought once. What's light heavyweight? Hold on, I'll tell you right now. Light heavy. He fought at
light heavyweight's 178. No?
So he fought at he fought 178.
I'm looking at the wrong list.
175.
Okay, so he fought at 175. He probably walks around maybe 183. You know what I mean? Where you got guys that fight light heavy that walk around 205. You know what I mean? So that's a big difference, bro. That's a big jump. Where Canelo is he's a huge 154. He's a big 160 something, and he's a good size 168 pounder. Once you get past into those heavier, I don't know. Like I said, man, I'm not saying much on it because it's Canelo Alvarez, so it's hard to doubt a guy with that resume. But in my opinion, he needs to back away from that fight for now. Mm-hmm. He needs to back away from it. Addressing it right away, you're not going to get a different result. You're not in my opinion. I think the way the guy dominated the fight, the tactics that he used, he was not. Here's the one thing. Canelo's power, he was not afraid of Canelo's power.
Mm-mm.
Canelo was hitting with vicious body shots, and the guy was just coming forward like nothing. Coming forward, standing behind a stiff-ass jab, and catching Canelo. So to me, Canelo back away, maybe get a tune-up fight, go for Triple G, and if later on you want to address that fight again, by all means, but back away a little bit. I would hate to see him, a guy at that caliber, let his mental get the best of him and want to jump right back in. I just don't think that's best for him. But that's, again, it's Canelo Alvarez, bro. You know, you don't second guess one of the greatest. You know, so I don't know, but whatever. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's an hour of our show. Notables. I wanted to talk about some stuff before we close out. Jen, first and foremost, man, I really love what your husband is doing with his Frisbee League. I'm actually fascinated by it. I was watching some of the really spectacular throws, like or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's actually. I don't know the terminology within the what do you call it?
No, you're right. Throws.
Yeah, but let us know. Let us know where they can find him. What the name of the league is, what the YouTube channel is, because I think they're onto something, bro. I think that shit is, like, yeah, because like there's other sports that you'll watch that they try to throw at you, and when you kind of like dig like cornhole, you're like, yeah, it's not really a sport. You know what I'm saying? You dig into other little sports, and you're like, not really getting into it. But let me tell you something. I am, for lack of a better term, balls deep into this Frisbee. Like, I'm balls deep into it. I was like, dude, this is crazy. Like some of the throws that go behind the tree. Like, how did you know that was, you know what I'm saying? Like, how did you get it to bend? Like, that's crazy, bro.
It's not just that, but you have to see the sidearm throws. Those are insane.
The speed, the accuracy, and like it's literally going around the corner. Like, and you don't see what's around that corner, and he's just like, whoo, and you see the thing, and I'm like, and he hits it right on the. Yeah, that's talent, bro. That's talent.
Yeah, and this is why we have to do a live with Felix. Their business is Ace Run Productions. Their YouTube page, Facebook page, it's Ace Run Productions. They actually started.
Put it down in the comments first.
I will. They actually started out as players. They started playing in a local league, and they just realized that on YouTube there was some coverage of tournaments, but there wasn't really reviews on discs. And every disc has a different width. It has it will go in a different direction depending on how you throw it. It's insane how much
technical stuff there is attached to it.
Yeah, there's different thicknesses, there's different weights. So we really have to do
That's
a
what
lot.
they say about me. Thicknesses, different weight. Yeah, I know. I get it.
So, I mean, you and I were talking about doing a live with him so that we can discuss it. But basically, it started in 1975. It's been around for 50 years. It's just that it's just catching on because they're making the players are making such big money. They're getting these huge contracts.
Yeah, right? Like
$1 million contracts. Like the three top guys right now, Ryan Wysocki has a 4-year, $4 million contract. Paul Macbeth has a $10 million contract. And Chris Dickerson just signed a 4-year contract with Discraft with a undisclosed guaranteed amount with unlimited royalties. The ladies, unfortunately, though, this is what gets me angry and is getting the ladies angry. They're only covering the lead cards on these tournaments for the women. So your secondary cards where your ladies may catch up the next day or be in the lead card the next day, you're missing their coverage the day before. So the ladies actually this year are extremely upset with the PDGA. They've been complaining to the PDGA because they want more coverage. And
let's give it to them. Let's see.
Yeah. Last year, Felix and a bunch of his Ace Run Productions and a bunch of the smaller production companies were covering them. And the ladies are actually contacting them during these tournaments and asking them where they are. They're like, why aren't you guys covering us? Why aren't the secondary?
Why is that? Do you know what it is behind it? Like, is it cost? Is it like?
I think it's because the men overall just get more. They just, I mean, like any.
Or
Like,
could it be this? Let me ask you a question. Could it be this? Could it be now post-COVID or quote unquote post-COVID? There's more men's tournaments, so now you have to like stretch your resources. No.
no.
There goes that theory.
It's the men have always gotten more coverage in this sport, and the women are finally starting to speak out. And I think it's because of COVID, because they had to take that time off, that they're seeing that difference with these contracts coming in. The women are still getting contracts, but they're not getting paid like the men.
Yeah, they're not getting anywhere near that.
Coverage of the men. And the ladies are finally starting to say something.
Let's see.
And I'm friends with one of the women pros. We keep in constant contact. And
See if we can get her on when we do the live. Let's see if we talk to her as well.
I'll try my best, because she's actually the one that she also has a consulting business where she does nutritional coaching, and she's actually the one that's helped Felix lose 27 pounds in 3 months.
Okay, well let's tell her I gotta holler at her. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna talk about something real quick. I'll make it short, brief. I know Javi's he's not into my rant about this, but I went to one of the most amazing sporting events I've ever been to in my life. Now, for me to say that, I've been to a couple of playoff games. I've been to some Subway Series, some NBA basketball, some playoff football games, a lot of college football games. I've been to all these events, man. And, I've been in cities where the Super Bowl has been there, where maybe, like big soccer events, stuff like that. And I'm not comparing it to soccer because that's just a different animal. But, oh my God, I had no idea how big F1 racing is. It is, gargantuan. It is immense. First of all, I was here during the Super Bowl, right, in Miami and in this area. In Broward County, I didn't feel the Super Bowl at all. I saw a couple of people walking around, Kansas City, whatever. I didn't feel the Super Bowl.
I didn't feel it living 2 miles away from the stadium.
There you go. He didn't even feel it 2 miles away, right? Let me tell you something about F1. There was a party on the beach, and every hotel over here by Broward, whatever, was covered and promoting international F1 racing, packed with people. Packed. F1 jerseys everywhere. The merch sells in the millions, right? What do you call it? I was down in in Miami, right? Down by South Beach. Giant screen on the beach. Big party. What is it? Concert? No. They're showing the F1 race. Oh shit, cool. Wow, amazing. The who's who of superstars. They said that Opelika Airport and the airport over here, the local airport right here in Hollywood, right, for private jets.
Perry?
Sold out and packed. No parking spots available. Nothing could fly in. They set a record, right? A record for the number of flights that came from Kentucky Derby to Miami in one day. Private jets. It was a record set into Opelika Airport and to the south. Like, it was just a record number. They locked it all up. If you wanted to park your plane, you either had to go to the Keys or all the way up to like the boonies up in North Florida and then drive down, right?
Or Palm Beach.
But then Jordan, Brady, everybody's there, right? It was the who's who. You get to the track, and even the whole setup was impressive. The whole setup was impressive. How big, the size of it. You know what I'm saying? How massive it is. We're talking about a couple 100,000 people. It wasn't like 50,000, 80,000. No. It was a couple of 100,000 people that jam-packed that place because there was stands and there was standing room and there was everything all over the place, right? And the way they set it up was originally Miami was going to have it so that they could go throughout the entire city, right? But they couldn't get the zoning for it. So they had to do it within the track area. And what they did was they just kind of did the whole water theme and boats and all this cool stuff laying around. Now, the cool thing about it is I've been watching on Netflix, if you guys want to watch something cool on Netflix, Drive to Survive, right? And it's like It's like a Ultimate Fighter or a whatever, but it follows these drivers, right? And it follows their teams. So like you become a fan of a driver, but you also become a fan of a team. Like I started off Lewis Hamilton. He's the only one I knew. He was a minority. I was like, yeah, I'm all Lewis Hamilton. Da 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 da. Yo, about 3 seasons in, I'm like, oh fuck this, man. I'm Team Red Bull. All of a sudden, I'm Team Red Bull. I'm George Perez. I'm Ricardo. I'm all these other guys, and you're like, you actually start to learn the backstories, who they are, how much actual money is behind F1. F1 might be one of the richest sports. It might be the most wealth, probably the most wealth. There's only 10 to 14 drivers. It's not like it's a league of 50, 100 people. It's 10 to 14 drivers. It's 7, 8, 6, 7, Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Haas, Red Bull, McLaren. These are just the teams. That's it. After that, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to invest millions in your engine, millions in your technology. Yo, in split seconds determine whether you win. There's nothing like watching a car on a turn that you would think, yo, bro, I couldn't do that at 50 miles an hour, doing 204. Yeah. It doesn't do it justice when you're watching it live on TV, that when you see that thing, it looks like a fastball. That's what it looks like. It looks like a fastball.
Trust me, I heard it.
Bro, it looks like right? It looks like a fastball passing in front of you. That's how fast these cars are going. And it's insane. And you got these superstar guys that, yo, they're walking around. Yo, I'm telling you, these guys are superstars, man. And as soon as you start learning their backstories, you start learning the challenges that each team has. You start learning how razor thin the line is between each team. You're like, you fall. I don't know how long I'm balls deep in that. I'm all in. I'm all in on F1 right now.
I think so is Javi. I think he just logged into Netflix, is watching the first episode right now.
What do you call it? No lie, Miami has them locked in for 3 years, but with the potential for 8 years, the next 8 years. And
I'm going.
They made so much. First day, $200. That's just to watch people warm up. Second day, $400 to watch qualifiers. Third day, bottom tier ticket. Bottom tier. That means you were around the corner.
They also have the women's league that ran this weekend.
I had no idea. I had no idea they ran.
Yeah.
$2,000. I got to stand on the track. Yo, dude, the track. You know what the track feels like? It feels like a lot like a like the soft rubber from running, like a running track.
When I went to the Giants game when they came down here, where me and my friends parked, it was on that corner of the track, corner University and Ives Dairy.
Oh yeah.
So that's where we parked on that asphalt. You're right. It feels like that.
Yeah, it feels like
hot as hell too.
Yeah, and that's why the tires, when you change your tires, mean so much, because if you change them too late, right? The later you change them, the better, because when you put on those fresh tires, they grip better, and you're a lot faster. You know what I mean? So I learned all the truth. You can't pass on the inside.
Another thing, obviously, because it's such a big sport in and of itself, but also because, as we know, in Miami, the summertime is the quiet season here.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And if you can bring an event to Miami when it's hot as balls, and it's not even hot as balls yet here, you know.
And the fact that
they did it in the correct month, because once June, July, you start getting hurricane season out here, and you just don't know if May is usually the good month that nothing's going to get canceled.
Before that, that imaginative douchebag that turns on the humidity switch.
Yo, you know who I saw that's absolutely gorgeous? Fucking Joy Taylor. Joy Taylor from the Colin Cowherd Show.
Yeah, bro, I saw a picture of her the other day, because about a month ago I sent the picture to my cousin. I'm like, yo, why is she looking bloated? You know? But then I saw this other picture like just this past week, and I'm like, dang.
The angles, man.
Dang.
Insane.
Yeah. Damn.
Guess how much the Ferrari team is worth?
How much? It's in the billions. Has to be.
1.35 billion.
Yeah.
And they have a yearly budget for all teams of 140 million.
Yep. And here's the thing about them, right? There's lesser teams that have to compete with them. So like I remember per driver, like the Haas team only has 500,000. Or no, I think it had like 500,000 on the budget for them. So imagine that. You have literally like there's no limit on your budget, and you have to match up with these other cars, yo. So they were like, you could be the best driver, but literally the car will determine whether you win or not. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And for years, Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes had the best driver, best car. And over the last year, they made like a change in management.
Well, he was teammates with Verstappen too, so they were teammates.
They had a what do you call it?
They were the 1-2 punch.
Yeah, they had a what is it? Shake and bake. They had a which is what I want to do now. My next trip. I was talking to some of my boys from Jersey. They're gonna come down. We're gonna go check out Daytona. I want to see what NASCAR looks like in front. You know what I'm saying? So a couple of years ago, just to give you a little backstory, a couple of years ago,
making a left turn,
my sister lived on 65th and Boulevard East, and they had closed off Boulevard East and down on the water, Edgewater.
Yeah.
And they made that an F1 track, and they ran F1 there. They brought it to Jersey, whatever, and it was dope. But I don't remember it being that crazy. Over here, holy shit, man! And like I said, to date, I just never saw. I hadn't seen a sport envelop the entire city. And I'm talking about Broward and Miami-Dade. It just completely enveloped it, bro.
It was crazy.
It was pretty dope.
Crazy.
But all right, ladies and gentlemen, and with that, we are out of here. I want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us once again. Do us a favor, man. Comment, share. Let us know what your thoughts are. Keep us informed. You know, if you have topics, send them in. Let us know. Let us talk about it. We always welcome your feedback. We really appreciate everybody. This has been The Sports is My Love Language podcast. I'm your boy, Dropping Dimes, a.k.a. the hopeful romantic, a.k.a. the feminist with chauvinist tendencies. And we are out of here.
Peace
Peace out, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye.
Peace.